Namaste, welcome back to Jewel Ornament of Liberation by Gampopa. So today we will going to talk about the chapter 12, the perfection of generosity, Dāna, pāramitā. So, Dāna means to give, So when you give something, you have to open your hand, So that open, when you close, it's almost like your heart is closing. When you open, your heart is opening. So in the outside, you see like the generosity or the dāna or giving looks like just opening hand, but in a deeper level, your heart is opening. So if you go even deeper, your ego is opening. When your ego is opening, what does that mean? You're going back to ego-less, the emptiness, the nature of mind. So the practice of generosity is so profound, and it's so important for lay practitioner. The Buddha was so much emphasizing for lay practitioner that the main practice is generosity, giving. So when you start to practicing generosity, of course, the intention, the motivation always should be like how this generosity, this small gift, may bring liberation or enlightenment to all the sentient beings. So the motivation always should be that all the sentient beings may liberate one day or enlightened by this small gift, small practice of generosity. And so then the intention, because of your motivation, the generosity become a much more powerful, So that's why the intention is so important. Whatever the practice you do, include the generosity. So now the Gampopa mentioned here in the Jewel Ornament, so why to practice generosity, So the fault of not giving and benefit of giving. So the generosity is giving your time, giving your resource, giving your energy, giving your smile, giving your wealth, giving your, network, power, whatever. It's just give away. If you don't give, for example, even for the farmer, when they want rice or corn or vegetables, first they have to give the seed to the earth. So that's a gesture of their own seed. They have to give to the earth. First you have to give, and you have to give the water. You have to give the work before that. You have to do all the work. So then the nature will give you back the corn, the vegetables, and then the rice, the potatoes, whatever you wish. First you have to give. So I think that's so powerful. There are many people in this world, they want, but they don't want to give. They want respect from other people, but they don't give respect to other people. They want people to, talk good about them, but they never talk good about other people. They want people to love, but they never love other people. So the interesting part is, whatever you want, just give first. If you want respect, give the respect to other people. If you want to be loved by other people, give the love to other people, So the same thing here, if you want the wealth, you have to start to give other people. And for example, now, for me, I've been doing so many social work, many projects, and sometimes many people ask me like, how are you able to do so many things? The interesting fact is, I give a lot. For example, when I was 7 years old, I started practicing the generosity, the giving. So there was the young couples who came to near the monastery. In those times, the people, kind of married and they run away from family and they have nothing. They didn't bring anything. And I was just 7 years old, and I just, some of the monks were just going down to see them, and I went there, and I see the situation. The young couple, they have nothing. I mean, they have no place to stay, they have nothing to sleep on, they have no money. And at that time, I had the Tibetan carpet. I mean, I'm talking about like maybe 30, almost like a 27, 8 years ago. So I have one Tibetan carpet, and that's a gift from my parents. Now you can imagine that's only the property or the wealth I had. But when I see them, I just, give my Tibetan expensive carpet to that stranger couples. I just tell them, I bring the carpet and I give to them, and I tell them, you can sell this and you will get some money and start your family, start your, life. And so this is just one example that I've been practicing generosity, the Dāna. So the interesting, I really believe in law of karma. I really believe in law of nature. What you give, what will come back. And that what really happened, For now, really like whatever I wish, it just all manifest. And not because I'm so powerful, not because I'm a Rinpoche, and I think because of the law of karma, the practicing, the giving the generosity, and all the now, the wealth is coming back, and I'm keep giving and keep coming back. And that's a very powerful, and many of you know that the law. So I think this is what he mean. If you don't give, so you will not get. And then always this lack of opportunity, the insecurity and poverty, and then poor. So not enough, you have not enough food, you have no enough place to stay, you have nowhere to go, and always in this scarcity, So that's the obstacle, if you don't have enough. And that's obstacle for practitioner to go further, So there is a businessman in ancient India time. So he was so greedy, and he had so much, but he was not able to even like a kind of use it, and don't talk, he don't give to anybody. He's so greedy, and one day he died. And after his death, of course, he can't take anything, even the small coin he can't take with himself. Everything he has to left behind, and he was reborn in a hungry ghost realm. So now you can imagine the fault of not practicing generosity. You in this lifetime, you. Even though you have so much, you still feel poor, insecurity. I mean, if you don't have, of course you will feel, but some people, even they still feel insecurity. They feel poor, they never feel satisfaction. And right after the death, so they will reborn in a hungry ghost, in a lower realm, which is suffering. So While they're alive, they're suffering. While after they die, they suffer. It's not worth it. So now here the Gampopa said, when you start to practicing generosity, the giving, of course you feel your heart is opening, here and then the creating a condition for wealth and merit. So you are accumulating a merits, which is you can use it this life or next life. You're creating a condition for more wealth, which I already give you the example. And in Nepal right now, I'm in Parping in Repa retreat, and in Nepal we have the place called Namu Buddha. And I think that is the really, really good example of generosity, the Dāna, because once upon a time when Buddha was a Bodhisattva, and so he gave his own body for Dāna to the hungry, the mother, the tiger. So, can you imagine that level of generosity? The Dāna is ordinary people can't, do that. That's a very advanced generosity or Dāna. But because of that, he enlightened in his lifetime. When he became a Buddha, that was the all merit that support him to be enlightenment. Now, there are three types of generosity, and Gampopa said, the material giving, Dharma giving, the fearless giving. So what does it mean? The material giving is, most of we know, the material generosity is you give the food to poor people, or hungry people, and you give the clothes for who are, who don't have enough to wear. You give a shelter for the people who don't have the home to stay, and you give education for those who can't afford for education, and you give medicine, and so on and so forth. The money, and that's all like the what do you call the material generosity, the giving. So the second generosity is Dharma. The Dharma generosity means that you share your knowledge, and especially the knowledge which can help you to liberate or enlightenment or realize the nature of mind, or seeing the truth or realizing the truth. So the sharing, the teaching, or guiding someone the virtuous path, or guiding meditation, and all these are the Dharma generosity. So because the difference is the material generosity is very temporary. It can solve maybe maximum this lifetime problem or today's problem. If you give maybe one ball of thukpa or momo or dal bhat, and the rice vegetables, so that can solve maybe one afternoon's hunger. But in the evening again he will get hungry. You have to give again. So the material gift will be very temporary, and it's a very short term, and only this life. But the spiritual generosity, the Dharma generosity, it's for once he is enlightened or liberated, or so that Dharma can kind of help him to liberate from life, many lifetime, that she don't have to go to samsara. So that's why the Dharma generosity is very like a higher generosity, let's say, or advanced generosity. And for that we have to learn the Dharma. For that we have to practice meditation, so that we can teach other people, we can guide other people, and that's very important. And the fearless giving it's more like a saving lives. There are people who is going to release the life. For example, they go to the fish, the fisher market, and then they buy the live fish, and then they bring back to the lake or river or sea, and they like a kind of giving the life back. Or there are many kind of practice, for example, the cow, the goat, the sheep. So the villager, they're about to going to kill them, and some people they pay the money and say, please don't kill, give it to me. So my father bought so many animals from the slaughter, and then he free them in the open space. So that's more like here the fearless giving. More it's more like for example in Soyombu, in Nepal. So there is in the Kora, they sell the birds. There's some beautiful birds, but in the cage. So one time I went there, and I bought few birds in the cage, and then I released them. I opened the door, and I let them freely fly in the sky. So that is like more like a fearless giving or fearless generosity. So it's more like a released someone's life, or like some people are about to going to kill, and you are really like protecting that person's life. So that's also a life, the generosity or the fearless generosity. So this is these are the three type of generosity. So it's we have to practice as a bodhisattva, and especially who took a application bodhicitta vow. So we have to practice generosity, and lay practitioner, we have to practice every day, and it's good for our career, good for our life as well. So the way you give the generosity, the Gampopa said, it's the motivation is so important. The pure motivation, the pure attitude, and the right attitude, the right action, the right understanding. The pure motivation should be like, as I told you in the beginning, that may all the sentient beings become an enlightenment and become a Buddha. So it's almost like I give this, so that the intention is to may I benefit him or her to enlightenment or liberated, or all the sentient beings. And the right attitude is, the Gampopa said, not like expecting. Like sometimes people, give something and they expect to back. Oh, I give you a birthday gift. Maybe next time in my birthday, maybe maybe expecting maybe a little bigger gift in return. So that's I think a wrong attitude. So you should not have any expectation when you give, and you should not regret. And sometimes people what they do, like I give something to someone, and after 1 week they start to feel regret, like, oh, I should not give him, now I don't have that, So you should not regret, and the motivation should be very pure, and the intention, there should not be any expectation. And sometimes when people give to poor people, that's the attitude is wrong. Like they are throwing the food, or they are throwing the money, and they're throwing the biscuit, so that I think, or fruits, I think that is not the right attitude to give. You have to, and how you give to your parents, you will not throw the food or to your parents or your guru or teacher. So you will with the both hand, and you will give to your parents or your or the guru. So same way, when you give the poor people with the respect, not like, oh, I am a superior, you are inferior, you are nothing, so I'm just giving you. And not that that is a wrong attitude. You should not have any pride. The right action is with the joyful, with compassion, with loving kindness. So when you give anything to other beings, so the right understanding is more like to really recognizing that everything is impermanent. The wealth is impermanent, you are impermanent, so you can't take anything with you. If you die tonight, you can't take even 1 penny with you. So, and why not generate the merits, So then understanding the impermanence of everything, so then practice the generosity, And in order to, for example, when we say generosity or the Dāna, so Dāna pāramitā. So here I think we have to understand here the perfection of generosity. So the perfection here, the pāramitā, so it's slightly different. So here, when you practice generosity, so normal, when you do normal generosity, there is a I, the giver, and there is the receiver, the you, and then there is the think. You are giving the time, you are giving your wealth, you are giving your smile. There's something that, so that is what we call the triangle. So the triangle, when there's a I is exist, you are exist, and this thing is exist. So there's duality is always there. The ego is always involved. And then the perfection of generosity, or the Dāna pāramitā. So pāramitā means like go beyond. Par in Nepali we say par garno, So now in order to make the generosity the perfection of generosity, the Dāna pāramitā, so you have to have a little understanding of shunyata, the emptiness, understanding that the I is not really there. I am, this anatma, which we call the egoless. So, this body is not me, this mind is not me. So there is such a thing called I is not exist, I-less. And whatever is object, the poor, the friends, whomever you are giving whatever, the receiver is also empty. When you go deeper, each and every cell, when you kind of open it and zoom it, so you will find what we call the smallest particle, the atom, the neutron, the proton, and the electron. And if you even like a zoom in, and you will find the so-called the quark. And if you open it, zoom in, you'll maybe find the energy, the vibrating, and even more zoom in, and you will just, it's empty. There's really nothing in the deepest part. So even the receiver is empty. So giver is empty, receiver is empty in the reality, and whatever you are giving, the money, the thukpa, the momo, the rice, the food, the money, everything is empty. If you go in a deep kind of investigation, you will find the empty. So now the interesting part is, there is the empty of triangle. There's when you go beyond the triangle, so that is called the pāramitā. You still can give, but then there's no attachment, the self-attachment, the other attachment, the attachment toward the thing. So everything is empty, yet understanding everything is empty, yet giving to that receiver. So that is called the Dāna pāramitā. So it's a very profound. I think maybe when we will talk about the shunyata, emptiness, maybe then you will understand more in this, the perfection of the generosity. But for now, if you understand the generosity, it's more than enough. So may all of you continue practice generosity, and may you become kind of perfect in the generosity, what we call the Dāna pāramitā, the perfection of the generosity, and may you enlightened and liberate from this samsara. Thank you, and see you next time.